in meditation, they took me, I was going to say everywhere, but you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think maybe it was just old past lives or something, because they kept morphing scenes, and it was women and men, and it did look like different times and spaces, and like from long ago. I don't know that any of that matters, but it was a tremendous amount. I mean, it just kept going and going and going and going and going and going. And at first I was really trying to perceive the scenes, just like enjoying the real, but also trying to see. Sometimes it's hard for me to grasp the amount that they're sharing in a scene and what's actually occurring. Sometimes it's simply because the vision isn't as clear. It's like coming into like a alignment or vision or clarity, and then it's like almost as soon as it does, like instantaneously they'll morph it into an entirely different scene. And so nonetheless, this went on and on and on and on. And like when I'm in those spaces, I'm not thinking, it's just like absorbing. But then at the end, well, at first it was at the right, like the last scene or a few scenes are around the end before the end, there was like this really, really bright light, but it kept getting like fogged out almost by all this darkness around it. So it kept like shining through all the darkness. And I was trying to stay focused on the light to see if it would like eat up the darkness and get larger. And it kept like shifting and shaping and morphing into different, like it would shine out based on where the darkness moved. So it would only be able to peek out or peer out or come through where it wasn't being like covered over, so to speak. Anyway, that had happened, but even in that occurring, it would almost give like flashes of images. So you know how if like, I don't know if they even still do this or even still have these, but like back in the day, like in nightclubs or whatever, it would be of like that techno, right, where it would be flashes of light. So you couldn't see people, but then you'd see their figure, then it would flash out. It was kind of that idea where when the light would get really bright, it looked like it was, all the darkness was actually a crowd or an audience. And then it would go out, and then the next flash was actually like a forest or something, and then a night sky with shooting stars going off, and then it would flash out. But this was just the end part was like that. Nonetheless, at the very end, it all faded to like like shapes or fuzziness of like purple, and but then that was it. It was blank. There was no scene. There was nothing. It was just like this soft purpleness in the middle, and everything else was like gray and black. It was just all flat. It was flat. It was empty. And I waited and waited and waited, but I was like becoming more and more aware as it was just flat like that. It was like I was coming back, so to speak. And it's almost like disappointed. It's almost like the ride's over kind of thing. And I was, after meditation, before I jumped on here, I was trying to understand it all and trying to see like what the message was. And I think it's like, it's a blank canvas where it's like we've had all these past lives and all these experiences and lifetimes of, it was like lifetimes of bliss. Like each scene, and even though they were morphing fast, seemed like exciting or something. Like they did seem pretty cool. But it was just a scene, really. But it somehow gave me this feeling and imagery of a snapshot of that lifetime for that person, right? Like it was, again, different sexes throughout all the different ones. And so it was like caught up to speed. You're here now, and now you have a blank slate. Now you get to write your new story. Which I guess can be exciting, right? It's like, being given like a slab of clay. Here, go mold this into something. And I mean, essentially, that's what we all get to do with all our minds, right? Our minds, we get to mold and shape them as we choose and how we want our life to look and feel and design it. And all that said, I mean, because to me, that said should be, right? But exciting, right? Like thrilling and exciting to be able to shape and mold and decide and choose. And yet that is not the feeling I had at the end. It did feel flat or disappointing. It felt flat and or disappointing. Like, it did feel like the ride is over. Or maybe as I was saying those words, the ride is over. It is maybe that. It's like when you get to a certain point, maybe it is when you finally get to the present moment, when you get caught up to speed, it's like life is no longer carrying you. You are carrying life. So now you are in charge. You are responsible. You need to decide. You need to take the reins, so to speak. And so maybe that is it. It's like the ride is over, meaning I don't like this. I was going to say, meaning the freedom of the free ride, right? It's like the ignorance is bliss. It's you were just going with the flow. You were along for the ride. All these things can be seen good or bad. We can take these either way, but I'm just trying to give you the feeling that's coming through and what was coming through at the end as well, where it was more of it's not daunting. It's not like it's scary or daunting, but it's more disappointing or like, what is it? It's like it's not lack of motivation, it's lack of inspiration. Is it a comparison thing? Like, I'm wondering, is it because they flashed all that excitement and it's all said and done? And so now it's like shaping and molding and discovering new. And so it's like, well, how can I match the excitement level from the years past, from the previous lives? And yet, so we shouldn't necessarily be comparing. It's just enjoying the present moment. But what will you enjoy in the present moment? And that seems to be it's like flatness or disappointment. There is no excitement. There is no lead. You are the lead. You need to lead. And so, what is that feeling? I really can't feel it or figure it out. Like I keep wanting to say disappointing, right? Like it's like I have this feeling of wanting to be excited. Maybe that's why I said you should be. Like it's like you want to be or I want to be. It's like I see that it's a blank canvas, it's an open slate, it's a slab of clay to mold. Like I see that the possibilities are endless, and yet there seems to be no spark. There is no spark. There is no, like that. It's like when we have a spark that gives us direction. Oh, maybe that's where they were showing that too. At the end, remember I was saying how there was that light and it gave me direction and focus. I so wanted to focus on the light. I was so excited to see what that light was going to do amongst all the dark. And so it was like I had a point of focus. I had an excitement. I had something I desired to see, learn, know, experience. And when it was at the very end and it was just blank, it was like there was no, it's like inspiration gives us a jumping off point, right? It excites us to go towards it. There doesn't seem to be anything to run towards. But again, they're showing it's because you are the thing to be run towards. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's like always looking outside oneself, and when you look outside oneself, there's nothing to see because you are the thing. It's like you are the light then that others need to come towards. So it can be that idea of like being in your feminine, being the moon, being the gravitational pull, all these things, maybe how they want me to see or feel it or understand it. And maybe that is it. Maybe it's I'm so used to doing, seeking, moving, experiencing, like maybe that is it. I've been used to that mode, that masculine mode we all have in us to get things done, to move towards that. There has been one thing that I have kind of wanted to move towards, but it's been just, how do I say that? Inching with excitement, meaning it fluctuates, but it hasn't like sparked enough to go into a spark. But I feel like I'm also continuing to grasp at it because it's the only thing that has given any flickering. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's almost like my mind is grasping versus, I don't know that we want to, well, one, I don't think, now that we're talking this out, I don't think that's what they want me to do. They want me to sit and attract in, right? Like to be the moon, to be in my feminine, to be open to receiving, to be that gravitational pull. And yet, doesn't that sound contradictory? Sorry, as I'm talking this out, I'm also thinking that sounds contradictory because I thought you were saying it was a blank slate, an open canvas, or maybe they just want me to mold my mind, my imagination, to open to the possibilities, but sit tight and allow the gravitational pull to receive them, or maybe receive the inspiration before I take action. Maybe, I mean, we could go on to maybes a lot here, can't we? See how I can do that? It's interesting. They're flashing now. I don't know if you recall, I'd put one out not too long ago. They were saying something along these lines. Something about letting it bubble up long enough. Not jumping, but letting it develop. So that's interesting, just from this current conversation, how I had said there was something that was flickering a little bit, but it didn't ever grow into that full spark. And so maybe it's that mentality is allow it to grow into that full spark and allow it to actually flame, like the fires to start to build and burn, and it really have that strong desire build and that momentum grow, and that heat warm you and excite you and delight you, and it's like shape it and mold it and frame it in your mind before you take action. And that is not how I am. I tend to, if I get the nudge or the excitement, I will start moving towards it. I think my mentality is always like, well, if it's interesting me and exciting me, I might as well keep going, right? Like might as well fan the flames myself, so to speak. But maybe that's why nothing has been a strong enough desire for me. Right? We've talked about how it's like I love so many things. Am I passionate about anything in particular? Not really. And so maybe that's the idea here, where it's like sit tight, which is challenging for me, right? With my ADD and whatnot, it's like it is challenging for me, but I think maybe that isn't the message, or that's the idea, where it's tough, sit tight, and do your best to continue to focus on that thing and let it shape and mold and form and grow in your mind, and allow it to grow from a flicker to a spark to a flame to a full-blown fire. Because then it's just filling you with such passion and heat, and then you can move from there. Can I sustain that amount of heat before moving? I don't know. Like I said, I move at the slightest flicker. It makes me sound like a jumpy cat. Interesting. I mean, I guess I allow some things too, but not to the degree that they're suggesting. And yeah. Yeah, I never know this sounds sure personal, doesn't it? But maybe it can help others too. Like if you find that you're not blazing with passion or on fire about something, maybe it is the time to sit in that gravitational pull, allow the ideas to naturally come, and ones that do interest you, allow them to continue to cultivate, but internally in your mind and in your body before taking any action. This just seems different than what I'm used to or what I've even been taught or told about. It's like get that excitement and delightment and move towards what inspires you and feels good. And this is almost suggesting not to do that. It's suggesting to not to do that just yet. Don't jump at the slightest thing. Don't follow all those little whispers. Wait and let it grow and let it build and let it... It's almost like be sure or something, but it's not that. It's not saying that. It's like you'll know and you'll feel it, but it's like instead of jumping at the feeling or at the slightest breeze, let it build. Let it burn some more. It's like let it form and shape and get really more into vision or into clarity, into certainty, I suppose, so that you feel more confident about it or comfortable about it or excited about it, passionate about it. I guess it's before you get back into your masculine, your yang, you get moving, taking action on that. Before that occurs, sit in yin longer. Sit in the receiving longer. Which does feel amazing when you do that, right? When you sit and imagine and indulge in that and allow that feeling to flood your body, mind, and soul. That is delicious. Oh, maybe they're giving me permission. Yes, they're saying yes. Oh, interesting. That is interesting. So I actually used to do that quite often, and I very much loved that, and life was a lot easier. That is very interesting. And I think I was criticized that for a while about being a dreamer and not taking enough action. And then when I came to this stage of my life for the past 5 or some years where it felt like I didn't have a choice, and I don't think that's even true for the full 5 years. I think for the first few years, I was still very excited and very much in my feminine and very much indulging in just allowing those feelings to flood me and indulge in that, sitting in that feminine and imagination of enjoying. And I think it then quickly became the realization of, oh, you have to take action now. And I don't know where or why or when that slipped in, how or who or what, and yet it did. And that almost shifted me into survival mode, in that it wasn't like anything had come into full formation or clarity, so I was jumping too soon out of fear, right? It's that lack, out of that survival, out of need or necessity, but and so that shifts you right into the yang, maybe preemptively. Maybe that's what they're showing. And so it was almost like, you know what? I think maybe that's because of that. Oh, is that what happened? Because of that, it was like I labeled being in my yin bad. Like, oh no, you can't be in your feminine. Oh no, you can't indulge in that. You don't have time for that. You have to label that as bad. You're not allowed to be there right now. You can't be there right now. Stop doing that. It was almost like I told myself that to keep myself from going back there or something, because it was like I couldn't afford to, right? It was this mentality. That's interesting. That may be what occurred. And was like I had to get real serious, real strict, real clear. And it's like such a wrong mentality slipped in. Like, suck it up, buttercup, you're on your own, do it, you got to do it, this kind of thing. And like hyper masculine or something, you know, like drive, go, go, go. And yeah, so I think it is. It's like, I don't know. The best way I can verbalize what they're showing is that it's like I made the yin bad or something. Like, the reason I'm saying that is because previously I had said it feels so good to indulge in that, and I forgot how good it feels to indulge in that. But I was making that indulgence bad, to be that open and receptive and allowing the universe to flow so freely, so easily, so naturally, so effortlessly. It's like, who told me, like, when did I, and again, I think maybe it was just the current reality was snapping into place, like, oh, this is all on you. This is so interesting to me. So meanwhile, I was going to say, well, what's the message here? Because normally I would say, well, doesn't one need to be in balance? And I do believe one needs to be in balance. And yet it's showing not that. It's almost showing I need to be in an imbalance, like back to fully in my feminine. But it's almost like to balance out the scales. It's almost like because I had gone into such hyper overdrive and receiving nothing, no help, nothing external, no anything, it was hurtful, painful, difficult, challenging for me. That's just not for me. It's not for me. Like, I don't want to be able to sustain that. It's awful for me. I so miss humans and company and laughter and joy and peace and ease and flow and da-da-da-da-da. And so it's almost like, I don't know how to say what they're showing, because it just feels like that intensity for that short amount of time weighed so heavy that it's like, to even those scales out, it's like I have to be in my feminine for a tremendously longer period of time for the scales to balance back out. So what is that? Like being back in the receptive mode, being back in the gravitational pull, being back into what feels good and natural for me, and not making it bad or wrong to receive. It's like getting re-familiar with it being okay and how good it feels, and allowing myself. It's almost like somebody told me it was bad or wrong. It's what it almost feels like. It almost feels like there was like some switch kicked or clicked, like something was said or done. It almost feels invisible, like it was done, but unbeknownst to me, that I had to snap into that overdrive. Meaning it almost feels, and it's almost giving the imagery that it wasn't conscious or by choice. It was like by default, which maybe it was. Maybe it was just instinctual, right? Like, oh, this has to take over. This has to jump into gear because what? It's like I'm not set up in a place of safety, security, and certainty, stability to continue in that. It's like I was going to say protected, but we don't ever really want to feel like that. But it is showing that it's like I wasn't protected or in a position for it to be safe. So what is that? Is that back to because my masculine wasn't mature, so I didn't have that discernment? It was like because that side of me hadn't matured. It was like I matured the one side, but it was almost like I had reached finally that maturity there, that it was like I thought I had reached it or something, but then because the other side wasn't, it almost dragged the feminine way back down to the immature feminine again, because the masculine wasn't mature and wasn't discerning. And so it was like, to balance that out, it's like the feminine had to go all the way back down to the same maturity level and grow with it or something. It's something odd they're showing. I don't know I don't even understand that. And so, as they rise together, something like this, as they rise together, the masculine side now has more discernment, more maturity, more understanding, more growth. And so now the feminine side can relax, can indulge, can receive. It's now safe for that. It's now able to. But it almost seems challenging in that it's like wanting to, desiring to, knowing how indulgent that feels and how good that feels. But it's like the rewiring that it's okay now. No, it is safe. It is okay. It's almost like jumpy in that we thought that before too, and it sure wasn't. This idea where it's like it's okay, but that is going to take some time to like calm that side down, or the nervous system, or the understanding. Or it's like the rewiring, the retraining of it is okay. It's like the retrusting in oneself, so to speak, this kind of thing. Okay. Sorry, I feel like I could go on and on. Let's not. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If you would like to support this channel, you can find more information in the notes below.